G'day everyone. Welcome back to the Toon podcast, the Southern Hemisphere's biggest and best podcast. All things Newcastle United. We are in the final countdown. 3 games left, all to play for. I'm joined tonight by Craig to discuss all things for Chelsea on Sunday. Craig, how are you, mate?
I was Ari till we started recording, and I got instantly nervous for this game. So thanks for that, mate. I was
Sorry.
yeah. I've got a few of me favourites right here, so that should quiver any nerves until kick off on Sunday. But not too bad yourself.
Yeah, I'm all right. What have you, for our audio consumers, what have you got in that glass you've just held up?
I have what is technically my liquid chocolate, which is Southern Comfort and Coke.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
Just a nice big glass of domestic violence. No worries at
Absolutely.
all.
You can take the boy out of Wall's End, but you can't take Wall's End out the boy.
I'm boring, mate. I've just got a water. So I am a coward with things like that. So yeah, this is it, mate. It's 4v5, both on 63 points, 3 games to go. Unfortunately, it looks like they've got their form back on track. They were kind of, I wouldn't say off the rails, but they definitely fell off the wagon. They were a bit wonky on the rails for a period of time there, which made them kind of fall back into the pack. They were kind of clear for a little bit in third place. But yeah, unfortunately, they've got their stuff together now. They've had that sort of cruisy Europa League. Oh, no, sorry, Conference League semi-final as well, where they pretty much played their second stringers to freshen them all up to make sure all their good players were right for us on Sunday. But what I'm excited about, mate, is a 9 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday night. Absolutely fantastic for us on the eastern seaboard of Australia, which is a midday kickoff over there. Traditionally hasn't been a favourable kickoff for us on the early ones. We're much better with the lights on and the stars and the moon taking over. But what are your kind of gut feel and what are your emotions going into Sunday?
Well, it's kind of gone one of two ways, isn't it? We'll either go to bed nice and early with a nice big smile on my face, or be going to bed nice and early, proper rage, and not getting sleep until about 5 o'clock in the morning anyway. So we might as well have had the game at regular kickoff for us. Either way, it's going to be a no early sleep situation, I reckon. But quite looking forward to a 9 o'clock kickoff. Again, that means we don't have to set an alarm or anything. Can get up, watch it normal time, enjoy it with everybody else as we would do normally. But yeah, you're right about the early kickoffs. We're not big fans of them. We're not exactly. I don't know what the win percentage is against them in recent times, but you think it's got better over the years since team performances have. But we're not overly big fan of them, I'm sure.
No, and maybe it has. I should have looked into this today, but it feels like we're just not. We're not as good. I remember the Spurs one comes to mind. That was an early kickoff when we seemed to put them away last year, which was very enjoyable. But there's a little bit of stuff kicking around. I don't know if we've just kind of gone through Eddie's press conference, the pre-match press conference. A little bit cagey. Said there's a couple of players they're waiting on, which is interesting. I'm tipping that might be Fabian Schär and Kieran Trippier going off last week. Having said that, there could be something completely unrelated that's happened during training this week. He also said Sven Botman is very close to starting, Craig. Now, do you think that is a strategic decision or is that forced by injury, do you think?
I think it's strategic. I don't think it's not worth risking Botman this late in the season from a potentially pick up another injury after already having such a lengthy layoff. Then I think it was his other knee that he injured this time after only coming back from a short period of games. Give him the odd cameo, get a few minutes in his legs if you're absolutely have to rest a few tired ones at this stage of the season. But he shouldn't be starting games. Have him fully fit and ready to go for the start of next. That would be my ideal scenario for him.
Yeah. How would you feel if he had to play though?
If he has to, then I don't think there's any better player that you'd want to come into the squad in terms of a like for like swap out. He is probably, and he actually is on the best on the day. He's our best defender by a significant margin. But it's just whether there's a little bit of rust there, a little bit of fatigue from not having many games coming in. In Chelsea, you've got a lot of pace. and that's one thing Botman does suffer from, is a lack of. However, his positional play is, as far as I'm concerned, world class. But we will see how it goes. I remember the game against Spurs down at their place when we won 2-1. That was his first game starting, I think, back from injury. And he was up against Big Dom Slanky and we conceded within like 2-3 minutes, whatever it was.
I felt the worst when I thought, oh no, this is going to be awful.
But he held strong and he came through. He played the full game, I believe it was, or he came off right at the death, whichever. But if he can do another solid performance like that, I'd be more than happy because he is very more than capable of it.
Yeah, so hopefully Shah pulls through for starters. So, just because Eddie says he's close to starting, it might be in terms of fitness that he thinks he's close enough to play that full 90 minutes. That hopefully doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to start and because something happened. So just kind of going through this logjam, if you want to call it that at the moment. There's basically 4 teams for 2 spots. I think Man City, they're probably going to be okay. I know they're only a point ahead of us, but their goal difference is better as well. So I think they're probably safe in third. But yeah, us, Chelsea, Forest, and Villa all within kind of 2 points of each other. Us and Chelsea was 63. I think Forest might have 61. Yeah, and Villa has 60. So we're all within a game. Villa's goal difference is pretty awful. Us and Chelsea are on the same. So that kind of maybe gives us a slight advantage if we're tied at the end of the season. But just looking at the run in, mate. So after this, we've got Arsenal away, Everton home. Chelsea got Man United home, Forest away. I think they'll definitely beat Man United after what happened this morning with their Europa League semi-final and then being in the final. So you could probably pencil that in. The Forest away one, last game could be very telling.
Huge.
Especially Forest at home if they've got a carrot to dangle in front of them for Champions League football as well. Aston Villa have got Bournemouth away, which will be a very tricky fixture this weekend, and Spurs at home. I think the Spurs home game is 3 or 4 days after the Europa League final scheduled to play. So Spurs, I don't think, will be in a very good space for that. So I expect Villa to win that one too. And Forest have got Leicester at home this weekend, which is a win. And oh no, hang on. They've got after this weekend, they've got Leicester home, West Ham away, which you think, that might win.
Got enough in the back of it, don't I?
It's gonna come down to the wire. Let's be honest. So, how are you feeling about it all? I know it's a different feeling. I think you spoke about this before, that for many, many years, with this amount of games to go, we've had the relegation that every game's a roller coaster and you're looking over your shoulder at other results and things like that. The feeling's not that much different, mate, where we are at the moment. It's just the I guess not the fallout's probably not as severe as relegation, but it doesn't make these games any easier to watch, does it?
It certainly doesn't. I mean, we've got something to play for at least, and we know regardless of what happens over the next 3 games, we do have some form of European competition anyway. So it's not like it's all going to be a loss. Yes, it'd be a big disappointment not to get Champions League, given the position we've got ourselves in right now. But I do think the lesser competitions, I mean, you've only got to look at the fact that who's in the final of the Europa League, Spurs and Man United.
I was going to bring that up.
It shows the quality and difference between the Champions League to the Europa League. If those two piss poor teams can effectively walk their way to the final, really. I think Man United had one tough game, and that was against Lyon. And they've literally pissed their way to it. I think if we were in that competition, which to be honest, we should have been, given where we finished in the league, but obviously Man United won the FA Cup. That's another story. But yeah, the quality there, whoever wins that Europa League, I don't think they're going to do very well in the Champions League because obviously they move up in the competition if they win it. And there will be at least 6 teams in the Champions League next season as well.
Yeah, so I was concerned about this. I did have to look this up today after the results this morning that, hey, is one of these teams going to take that 5th place away? But no, there's 5 and then whoever wins that's a different kind of thing. But the fact, and I know I reckon maybe the last month, once them 2 teams have got sort of closer to the end of the Europa competition, that they've they've probably prioritised that over the league. But like, and Tottenham they've had an absolutely wretched run with injuries for most of the season, and that's played a huge factor for them to be where they are in the table before they kind of put the league away and just focused on Europa League. But Man United have been dog shit like the whole season, and don't sort of mask the fact that the last month they've decided to focus on Europa League. They were absolutely shit before they were even a chance in Europa League. And like you said, mate, the fact that they're both in the final is probably a fair reflection of where that competition's at the moment. Having said that, if we did play that next year, I'd be pretty comfortable that we'd be one of the leading contenders to win it, especially when you see these two teams who are in the final who we are significantly better than. Let's not beat around the bush. We are a lot better teams than both of them. So, if it is Europa League, I mean, I'm sure at the start of the season, if someone had said you get Europa League and win your first cup final, you'd absolutely smash their hands off. And we've spoke about this. We spoke about this in our group chat and stuff as well, that, what would be better, the winning a cup or getting in the Champions League again this season? There's not even a comparison. Now that question will never, ever have to get asked again, because winning that cup will never, ever be beaten as far as we're all concerned. So, yeah, that's where that's at. An interesting tidbit that I wanted to talk to you about, mate, that Eddie brought up in his press conference. Don't know if he brought it up, but he was asked and he brought it up anyway, about Joel Linton. He is recently returned from Brazil after treatment for his knee injury. I'm not sure if it was an injection or things like that. It got me thinking, mate, like, given the resources that the club has now with the medical staff and the high performance, sports science, all that sort of stuff, do you find it strange that he's flying to the other side of the world to get treatment?
I do a little bit. That there are many knee doctors in and around Europe, I'd imagine, who are more than capable of doing what he needed done. From what I did read, he did fly back into Barca and he got an injection there and then flew back to Tyneside. I think that's what happened anyway. But yeah, it's a strange one, going all the way, I don't know how many, but 10,000 miles, whatever it is, to Brazil, not too sure. It's some whack anyway. But it's a strange place to go, unless you was allowed to go back for maybe a bit of warm weather recuperation. Maybe that was going to help his injury. Who knows? But either way, yeah, it's a strange thing to do. But obviously, Eddie approved it, let him go. And he's now back on Tyneside. And there's small contention he could be back.
Well, this is what I was going to ask. Surely, if they're letting him have a bit of a break on the other side of the world, he'd be no chance. Like, if they thought he was a realistic chance to play any of these last 3 games, you wouldn't let him fly to the other side of the world for a little sun, would you? Like, I haven't checked the weather at the moment, but I have, and Jack sent some stuff through that they're bracing for their heat wave. Now, the weather can't be that bad in the UK at the moment. That, like, we're not in the middle of winter anymore. Like, we're well into spring in the UK. So it's not that cold. I don't think he needs to fly to the other side of the world. So people can sort of throw out all these wacky theories and stuff like that. But yeah, it would make no sense to let him fly to the other side of the world if they thought he was a chance to play again this year.
Yeah, it is a strange one, Granny, on that one. But, stranger things have happened. We had, was it Kieran Trippier, who went all the way, I mean, it's not as quite far. He went to Dubai.
He went to Dubai, which is okay.
And then he came back.
It's not nowhere near to Brazil, is it?
But it's still a decent trip away from home when you've got a potential important game coming. I mean, all games are important, but this run of games is a significant stretch compared to the others,
Yeah. I found it very, very strange. And, like, I know we follow a different sport over here, but, like, if an AFL player had a bit of a knee injury and he could play in the next 3 weeks, there's no way that he'd be flying to the other side of the world to get a bit of sun and then a bit of treatment on the way home. Like, it's just, I don't understand it, but they've obviously got their reasons, and that's what I think. I think the reason is that he's probably done for the year. Get yourself away, mate. Go see your family and stuff. Get this looked at on the way home, and just come back and be around the boys for the next 3 weeks. Because they're a very tight knit group, and we've seen that countless times and stuff. And I think him and his passion and his love for his teammates in the club, I think that's going to be really important sort of just in the last 3 weeks and be around, be a bring the vibes and keep the energy high and everything like that. So yeah, that's hopefully he's back for that. Just a couple of team questions, mate, that we'd like to probably tick off. I wouldn't say the age-old question, but it's been the age-old question for the last few weeks. Is it time for Anthony Gordon, or is Harvey Barnes still doing enough to hold him out?
Well, I was having a discussion in a Telegram chat, which the link will be in the description. But basically, I would give Murphy a rest, and the way I'd have obviously Isak up top, and I would have Gordon and Barnes as a fluid rotation on both wings, and even Big Dog does that every now and again, where he'll drift out wide to either the left or the right. If you've got
he did last week, didn't he? Wilson come on.
He did. Yeah. If you've got a rotational front three, all with pace, all running direct at the goal, you've no idea who you're marking. You know, that could cause a lot of problems on that. And we've seen with Gordon, he's got one hell of a cross on him when he gets in from that right. Just ask Arsenal fans that one. I reckon that's what I would go with. The front three of Gordon, Barnes, and Isak. Give Murphy a rest and a good impact bench player.
Do you think, devil's advocate, for these last 3 games, especially with the week break in between with a full week and no sort of midweek ties or anything like that, is that our best 11? Our best, so I wouldn't say our best available 11 at this stage of the season.
It's hard to judge because Murphy has been absolutely fantastic this season. The last few games, he's been a little bit off the ball, but so has Isak. But I'd much rather have an off-the-ball Isak than a rusty Callum Wilson or an inexperienced Asula out there.
Asula.
I would much rather have Isak because we know when he's switched on, he is world-class. And hopefully he's had a nice little refresh. There's something not quite right with him. But yeah, if he's ready to go, then Chelsea will have troubles. But Murphy, I think, needs a bit of a rest. He's played a lot of football, hasn't really had much time in terms of sub appearances, in terms of going off or anything like that. He's played a lot of 90 minutes. Give him a bit of a rest, get Gordon on, let him run at the defence and see what happens.
On the opposite, I think Barnes to the bench, Gordon starts. Murphy, give us 60 minutes of absolutely manic pressing and pressure and everything like that. Hopefully tire them out, and then Barnes comes on for his super sub cameo and has an impact like that. That's what I think would happen. With Isak, I'm with you. I think come the end of the season, it'll come out that he's been carrying something for, I reckon, since around the cup final, to be honest. Now, I know there's been a lot of games since that cup final that have been decided maybe by the 75th minute mark, and we've had the luxury to take him off and ice him and things like that. And I think that would have probably happened if he was fully fit, purely like you said earlier, Craig, that 70% Isak is better than what Callum Wilson is. He's far superior to what Callum Wilson is at the moment, and Asula as well. Although it'd be interesting to see where they sort of see Asula long term, whether they see more as that winger charging and dribbling with the ball rather than a striker. And I think what happens in our off-season with our recruiting will probably give us a good indication of where they think Asula is, whether they go and buy another striker, and if they do, where does he fit in? What do they do with Callum Wilson? Do they give him another year, or are they happy to ship him off and let him go off into the sunset? So whatever happens there, I think will give you a fair indication of where they think with Asula's sort of long-term future is going to be. Not so much at the club, but where they think position-wise. But yeah, just he doesn't look right. It seems like he picks and chooses when he wants to go and defend and press and everything like that. And I think it's a strategic move. And obviously they've worked on this at training with the coaches and stuff like that. But he just doesn't look his sharp self and what he has, especially early in the season where he was up and about, he was zippy, he was a threat with and without the ball, putting pressure on. I just reckon, come the end of the season, it'll come out that he had an injury and and stuff like that, which will make his goal scoring feats even more impressive than what they already are. The second one, mate, Joe Willock or Lewis Miley?
As you know, I'm a huge Lewis Miley fan, and I would definitely have him in that starting 11 over Joe Willock. Willock, I'm not going to have a dig him for his dive in the penalty, because I do think there was some contact there, albeit minimal, to his thigh for his dive, if you want to call it that, because he was carded for simulation. But other than that, he didn't really do much. Given yes, he stole possession once or twice, ran at the keeper, but the majority of the time he was running the ball out the touch. Very heavy touches and just didn't seem comfortable with it. And that's not the type of thing that we want at this stage in the season. Again, he could be another impact sub, like I was mentioning with Murphy before, but I would have Maggie starting a little bit further forward on the right-hand side of midfield, swap Bruno across to left central with Tonali behind. And we've seen before that Miley has the eye for a pass when the box is crowded. And Chelsea will know that all too well from last season as well, when he picked out Isak for his first assist for the club. And I just think he's the better passer of the ball. He's probably a more generous passer of the ball as well, Miley. And he can strike the ball as well. And I can't remember, I think the FA Cup was the last time Willock scored for us, and one of those was a dubious goal as well, whether it did or didn't cross the line. But
we'll never know that either.
Go with Miley. Give him the chance. He is, and as Eddie said, he's the future of the club. And games like this can just define his, I'm going to say, legacy at the club around. He's only just turned 19, I think it is. But he's got a big future ahead of him in games like this, around with Tonali and Bruno helping them out in midfield, could solidify that position for the remaining 3 games of the season.
Interesting, yeah. It'd be very interesting to see what they do. I'm a bit funny on the Willock simulation. So, like, I don't think there was contact. So,
okay.
And if there was, it was minimal at best.
It was.
I think part of him was trying to avoid the contact.
Right. Okay.
So, like, given his flimsy nature, if we want to call it that, especially his legs, I actually think he's tried to avoid the contact rather than going through it and potentially trying to hurt himself. So, yeah, I can understand why he got a yellow card, because he did kind of dive, but I think he tried to get out of the way of the leg so he didn't hurt himself. So it's a bit of a, what do you value more? Do you just because he didn't hit him, he actually jumped out of the way so he didn't get hit. So, yeah, I'm kind of a bit funny on that. What I want to touch on too, mate, before we go, is that given the situation of both teams and the season and things like that, how do you think Chelsea will approach the game? Do you think they'll try and come and play the way they normally play, or do you think they'll be a bit more reserved and try and hit us on the counter-attack, knowing that sometimes we are susceptible to counter-attacks?
I think, well, a draw is not good enough for either team. I think both teams have to go and try and win this game, purely in the fact that we've got Arsenal next, and who knows what type of Arsenal we're going to get after they got knocked out of the Champions League. And then we've got Everton at home, and Pickford will turn into primetime Buffon, you can guarantee it, if he wants to try and spoil the party. That's almost inevitable. But both teams will be going to win this. I think as an attacking force, we have the better options going forward. I think we have the stronger midfield. And, if Mali does play, he's already schooled Enzo Fernandez once or twice in his career, so maybe he can do that again. But, it's going to be a good game. It'll be a fast-flowing game, hopefully. Hopefully the early kickoff doesn't deter any maybe leggy players out there if they're still half asleep. But
fans too.
The fans need to be in this. And as the thumbnail suggests, we need to bring the noise, as a lot of people have been saying. And it is a 6-pointer, this game, the proverbial 6-pointer. We win this.
Absolutely.
We go 3 points ahead of Chelsea, 2 games left to play. And obviously, they've got Forest last game of the season. Who have they got after us? Chelsea?
Man United, which...
right. But that could go either way.
Oh, no, they'll shit on them. They'll play their under-18s.
But, And then they've obviously got Forest.
That game's actually a
season.
worry for the goal difference. That game's a real worry for goal difference because I think they'll absolutely hammer them.
Right, yeah, that could be a big thing because I
Yeah.
don't know how the league works. Maybe you can explain this as well because obviously we're ahead of them. Is it on goals scored or games won? Because we both got the same goal difference. I'm not sure how it works.
I don't know.
Because we've won 19 games to their 18, but we've scored 66 to their 62. So I'm not sure on what aspect we're above them in the league. Because again, we've got the same goal difference, played the same number of games, same points. So if anybody knows the reason as to why we are, whether it is goals or games won, let us know in the comments. Because if we can maintain that one game win advantage, it could come down to something as little as that come the final whistle of the final game of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We should know this shit, shouldn't we, Craig?
We should, I
know in the A-League, I can't remember, was it last year or the year before? It was some like totally like it didn't get, if teams were on points, it wasn't goal difference, it was something else. It was some random thing. And someone had read it in the bylaws and ended up on social media. And I don't think any of the clubs knew about it or anything.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, it's peak A League. Like you wouldn't expect anything less from the greatest league in the world. And if people don't believe me, just watch a game. There is just random stuff happening everywhere. There's goals. It's just a brilliant league to watch. Before we wrap this up, mate, your prediction?
I'm going to go for be tried and tested all season long, 3-1 home win.
Well, if you're going to go like that, I'm going like that too. I'm going with my season-long tried and tested. I think we'll have a 2-2 draw. And we'll both be out of the top 5 come the end of the week because every other bastard will win. But no, I think actually, I don't think it'll matter because if we draw, we'll still be we'll be on 64. And if Forest win, they'll be on the same amount of points, but our goal difference is far superior. So as long as we win or draw, we'll still be in the top 5 after the weekend's fixtures with if we can manage to win this and get something out of the Arsenal game, that could be huge. That 1 point could be absolutely massive. So get behind everyone, get up, get out, wherever you're going to be watching the game on Sunday night. If you're lucky enough to be going, scream your lungs out for 2 hours because we're going to need it. All the boys are going to need it. And Craig, we'll see you on the other side, hopefully with 3 more points than what we do now.
Our race is already pounding it.
Sorry, I didn't want to do this to you 2 days out, but here we are. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. We'll be back Monday night, I reckon, for a review, and hopefully it's a very positive review. And we're 2 games to go, and we're nearly in the Champions League. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the other side.
See you, mate.